Hey everybody, I hope you've all had an outstanding week. I got back to Washington this week from spending a little bit of time back home. It was great, got around to an endless amount of businesses and constituent meetings. We picked up right where we left off, working on some of our biggest priorities here in Washington, and that's demanding fiscal responsibility from Washington, ending human trafficking, and keeping our coasts and our environment healthy and strong. I want to start with some very big news, and frankly, one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen since I've got to Washington. This week, we voted on a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. This is just common sense legislation. The federal government shouldn't be spending more money than it's taking in. That's why I was an enthusiastic yes in support of the balanced budget amendment. Every year, families, small businesses across the country, they're forced to set and live by a budget, my family included, and 46 states are required to have a balanced budget amendment either by their constitution or statutes, but for far too long, the federal government has shirked this responsibility, passing budgets that never balance and put us into even more debt. It's past time to put an end to this dangerous spending, in my opinion. It has to come to an end. But common sense doesn't seem to be driving the force in Washington, D.C. I think you all know that as well as anybody these days. And 184 of my colleagues, they teamed up and voted against this balanced budget amendment. They blocked a balanced budget amendment. Apparently, they want either more spending or higher taxes. Either way, bigger government, something that I just don't support. As you know, we have made some very significant progress this Congress in reducing the tax burden on families across America. It's been probably one of the proudest things that I could say that we've done. The tax cut bill that we passed in December, it lowered the individual tax rate for low and middle income Americans. It doubled the standard deduction, drastically increased the child tax credit, just to name a few of the very important things that it did. And we've already seen some of the most amazing benefits of this bill, not only in Americans' tax returns, but in the form of increased wages, increased benefits like retirement benefits, parental leave, college tuition, and more expanded business, which has and will continue to create more outstanding jobs. Probably one of the biggest messages that I hear across the district on a weekly basis is, we can't find the workers, we can't find the workers, we can't find the workers. People need you to come in there and apply to go to work in their business. We have so many people that want to have conversations with me about the fact that they need more people to get into their workforce, and that's an amazing thing that we have going on in the community right now. But reducing taxes is just one side of this issue of fiscal recklessness. That's why I voted no on the bloated omnibus spending package, and that's why I've been such a strong supporter of the balanced budget amendment since I got to Congress. This bill would have sent a strong message that the status quo, it's not working, and that we need to take action right now to rein in government spending and reduce the federal deficit. But I believe we can still get this done if we truly dedicate ourselves to fixing this problem. I'm dedicated to fixing this problem. Switching gears now. As you're probably aware, another big priority for us in Congress has been combating sex trafficking. There are few crimes more disgusting, more heinous, more reprehensible than the trafficking of human beings. Quite frankly, this is modern-day slavery. Recently, we've taken some very significant steps towards bringing this to an end. On Wednesday, the President signed a bill into law that I have strongly supported, which would hold the websites like Backpage accountable for doing nothing to stop public advertising for sex traffickers that goes on through their websites. I was very glad to see the President support that effort, and this week we passed 2 more bills to combat human trafficking and stop online predators that I also hope will eventually make it to the President's desk. First, we passed a bill called the Combat Online Predators Act, which will increase penalties for people who stalk or cyber stalk minors, and we also passed another one called the End Banking for Human Traffickers, which seeks to choke off human traffickers' access to financial markets through the targeting of money laundering and encouraging foreign governments to do the exact same thing. These 2 bills are some more great moves towards ending human trafficking and protecting our children. Lastly, I want to give you a quick update on the All Aboard Brightline train study that we asked the community to take part in a couple of months ago. I've been pressing the U.S. Coast Guard to get us the results, and have been advised by the Coast Guard that other parts of their research of this study are still ongoing. So we will likely get the results from the U.S. Coast Guard sometime around August on that study having to do with the drawbridges and the trains going through our waterways, both in Stewart and Jupiter. But I have big news also. A while ago, I requested a hearing on Oversight and Government Reform Committee on Brightline, on the All Aboard Florida project. We've secured that hearing, which will be happening next week. Congress will be looking into their applications for tax-exempt private activity bonds, even though they claim not to be seeking taxpayer funding. The fact that they applied for this taxpayer subsidy as a highway and many more issues. These are the things that we're going to be looking into on that Oversight and Government Reform hearing. So that will be next week, Thursday. I'm very excited to dig into it and more next week. Until then, it's an honor and a pleasure to represent you in Congress. I look forward to seeing you all around town this weekend. Have a great weekend.